Hey guys, and welcome to a new video. Today, update number 2 of the last Epoch release. And yesterday, it was a rough day. If you've seen the video or if you have not, the long story short is basically try to log in for several hours, managed to hit level 4, then a break time of like 5-6 hours of permanent disconnects, cannot log in, like no online play available, infinite loading screens, and so on and so forth. Ended up being level 27 in chapter 4, and I said like somewhere 4 in the morning, I said like, you know what, I'm gonna go take a nap and continue to grind today. Goal for today was to finish the campaign and do our first monolith, and ended up being, I think, level 47 in chapter number 7, I think, or was it 8? I'm unsure of that, because you know, it's just a different day with the same story as yesterday. Basically, when I was recording yesterday's video, it was somewhere like, I think like noon or something. It was totally fine to log in and play, and that's why I started the stream. I was super hyped. I was playing for like an hour, and then boom, same stuff again. Disconnects, infinite loading screens. It's usually like, you know, it cannot continue. Sometimes it was like loading screens of like 3, 4, 5 minutes. And then you just Alt F4, you log in again, then you need like 10 attempts to actually get into the game. You try to log into your questing area. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, sometimes infinite loading screens, sometimes you need like 4 or 5 minutes to even get into the loading screen, so basically a queue. So what I ended up doing is, let's say you have like your map and your quest objectives in that map, and once you've done that, it basically says, okay, move to the next zone, right? So what I did is, I went into the new area, I rushed to the next area, because if you get close to the zone transition, then you basically get queued up for the loading screen, right? So what happened, I'm just like moving over quickly, activate the sequence where I get queued into the loading screens, then I backtrack, kill all the monsters in the zone, do the quests and everything, and usually after like 3 or 4 minutes of queuing into the loading screen, I got into the loading screen. Sometimes it was like a 10-second loading screen, sometimes 2, 3, 4 minutes, sometimes infinite. Alt F4, log in again, and replay the entire zone. Just rinse and repeat. Rush to the portal, you know, start the initializing of the queue for the loading screen, go back, and so I had like some extra leveling just because I was clearing the same zone more often. And at the moment, I cannot even log in right now to actually show you what I've done to the character, or better said, what is the current state, the gearing process, what does my skill tree look like, and so on. So I cannot log in, I cannot show you that either, but I'm gonna take clips from today's live stream for the time when I was playing, to just leave them in the background and just talk briefly about what I have done and so on. And basically, we started off with the Gathering Storm build, and then transitioned or kept on playing this skill until we unlocked the Druid Mastery and unlocked the Werebear form. From that point on, until I unlocked the Swarmblade, which is, I think, 20 or 15 points or 25 points spent into the Druid skill tree, you unlock your Swarmblade form, which is similar, like it's just a different form of shapeshifting skill, but instead of a werebear, you're actually transforming yourself into a bug, you know, and not a game bug. I'm calling like, you know, an actual like insect bug, you know. And the thing is, I experienced that when I was playing the beta version like a month ago or something. I found out just by swapping into the Swarmblade form, you do a ridiculous amount of damage. And since my damage on my werebear wasn't like too crazy, you know, it's like, you know, Druids starting is always like rough, but usually in the end game with gearing and good stuff, then it turns out to be like an A or even an S tier build. And this is pretty much the same story in almost every game where there is a Druid to play in Diablo 4, the same story. Very rough in the early leveling part to mid game, but once you start getting your core items done, then it's becoming like an S tier build and really, really fun and strong to play. So what I did is, as soon as I unlocked the Swarmblade form, I was going with that, and without even applying any skill points into the Swarmblade form or anything like that, I was already doing like 5 times more damage than on the Werebear form. And the reason for that is the way the skills work. I have no idea how these skills are currently named, because usually now I would like mouse over it and say like, hey, well, this is the skill, that's what you're gonna do, right? But essentially, what it does is you have like a couple different abilities on your Swarmblade form. One is like a dash ability, and you can skill that. As soon as you dash, you generate like stacks of Maelstrom, which helps you like with the clearing and stuff. Then there is an auto attack, so like Armblade Slash, I think they're called, which is you basically hack and slash skill, and you can skill that it actually scales with your I think like Viper Strike or Viper Strike thingy. So you basically have like your skill tree from your Viper Strike applied to your basic attacks of your Swarmblade, which is very, very strong, but that's not even the point why this is so good. The main interaction why this is so strong is you have a skill that puts down hives, and those hives are like little turrets. They're spawning like little insects, right? And the more hives you have out, the more insects are spawning. And then you have an ability where you basically like make a slash around you, and you basically soak up all these insects and generate some kind of like righteous fire effect, like a big swirly around you. And as soon as monsters step into, or you are running with this area of effect into a monster, it just deals like dot damage more or less, right? So what you do, you just move and you continuously place your hives. The little insects are spawning, and when you see like, I don't know, 5, 6, 7, or even 10 plus insects around you, you just use this ability, you soak everything up, you create this storm, and you just run through monsters, and it ticks like for 2,500 damage or something. And as a werebear, I had like, what, with my Maul ability, with the strongest ability that I have, I was doing like, probably like, I don't know, like 1,000, maybe 1,500 crits in that case, and this one with the Swarmblade, you know, it's such a straightforward playstyle. Place your hives, soak them up, and just run through monsters, and that's pretty much it. There is another skill, or at least like one thing that you can spec into, somewhere in the right top side of your, I think it was on the Swarmblade tree. Basically, every time you auto attack, you get a stack, and once you have like 6 stacks, you spawn a tornado. And if you spec into Tornado, that means you need to spend 5 points into the Shaman tree. That's the first ability that you unlock. You put this in your skill bars, and then you get the Tornado tree. And there is like things that the Tornado doesn't. Is not like a stationary tornado just right there. So you can basically attach this tornado onto your Swarmblade form. So what you do, besides like hive spawning and soaking those up for the area of effect, you can just auto attack and then spawn these tornadoes that are attached to you while you're walking, and they just follow along, and you have like some very, very nice clearing ability. And yeah, basically single target on top of that with a Maelstrom, with the tornadoes, with your Armblade slashes, with the hive little insects you soak up and stuff. It is very, very easy and fun to play, and it is pretty strong. So the current goal is hitting level 50. At level 50, you will unlock your 5th and final skill or talent tree that you can put in. And as soon as I hit this point, then I want to transition to the actual build that I want to play, which is this Rampage auto-bombing werebear Druid. So the goal for now is probably tomorrow then, and I hope the servers will hold up tomorrow, that we're gonna hit this level 50 mark, respec the character, go into the werebear with like Gathering Storms, with Maelstrom, with like Raven, like Lightning Ravens and stuff, and just figure out a way how we can make this possible, or start auto-bombing basically on a low budget without any gear and try to finish the campaign with this kind of like playstyle. But yeah, so far, you know, it's like mixed feelings. The problem is the game is great. Like, honestly, I really enjoy playing this game. It just like frustrating if you really want to play and you cannot wait until you like finish the campaign, start to push gear, start to farm your first core items and stuff, and you just cannot log in. You know, you're sitting here hours of hours and trying to reconnect and trying to get into the next zone, and maybe you're lucky and you get into the next zone within 5 seconds. You're like, yo, it's fixed, right? And then next zone, infinite loading screen, Alt F4, cannot log into the game anymore. And this is like a repetitive thing. And yeah, the devs are working on it, and I'm super aware of that. It's their big shot, you know, the game is now live, and it's even crazy if you check out the stream DB here. We have like 176,000 all-time peak reached 3 hours ago, right? And this is basically equivalent to a Path of Exile league, even though Path of Exile is a game from 2013, and we're now hitting into the 24th league of 3.0, basically, right? So this is a game loved by the community, a game loved by us, and even Path of Exile still has problems on league starts, and this game is completely fresh, and already he's hitting the same amount of players right now. And I can imagine that it's like super frustrating for the dev team if they are working years on this game and trying to min-max it perfectly, and then there's a launch and then there's like shit happening as it is right now, right? There is the option to play in offline mode, and I'm 100% aware of that, but for me personally, it's just my 2 cents. For me, offline mode is kind of like a waste of time, because in the end of the day, I want to play trading. I want to like just grind online, maybe at some point go into trade league, and I don't want to like spend 10, 15, 20 hours or even days in offline mode to then just replay the exact same thing into online mode just because the servers were lagging, right? So I know the dev team is working on it 24/7 and try to fix it. I hope tomorrow things will be fixed. I was hoping the same for today as well. Sadly, did not work out that well, but you know, all we can do is wait and have trust in the devs that they're doing everything, and then we're gonna have an amazing game to play, and I cannot wait to continue the journey. Alright guys, that's it for today's update. More tomorrow, and yeah, thanks for tuning in, thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.